All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you are new here, thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's December 15th, and for some reason, there's like a bunch of stuff on my hat. I just now noticed that. Where's all this dust coming from, dude? We have some breaking news. Rich, I'm not being rude to you, buddy. It's all good, Rich. Michael says, like the video, you scallywags. Apparently, we have some breaking marathon news, which we will discuss. Of course. As soon as I go live. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining me today. We are doing a, I guess, somewhat different type of podcast episode today. This one's going to be focused on my personal game of the year for 2025, and I'm also going to be running down my top 5 games that I played this year in 2025. And so that's what this stream's going to be dedicated to today, although it is interesting the timing of this. We could go quickly check out what's going on with this Bungie situation. Vision of Marathon, new gameplay, developer insights, and more. Oh, so they released a vidoc, a documentary, I guess. Okay, so releasing March 2026, $40 price point. I guess this would explain why Saros maybe got delayed. Because that would have been kind of weird, releasing Marathon and Saros in the same month. All right, well, maybe that'll be a main topic of discussion or a focal point discussion tomorrow. It's unfortunate that that came out as soon as I went live, but yeah, hopefully this will serve as a good gaming-related conversation. And so, guys, before we go any further, there are a couple of things I want to talk about here with you. The first is that I have decided to enable, which I guess it's just something that YouTube's been rolling out to different channels, and hopefully this should help the channel. I've decided to enable channel guidelines, which, you know, it's nothing extreme, but basically before you choose to, or before you engage, whether it be with the chat or leaving comments on videos, this will essentially tell you, like, just, you know, what the basic guidelines are. And I kept them as simple as I possibly could. So the welcome message is we're here to have a good time talking about gaming and PlayStation. So there's only 3 guidelines. Guideline number 1, be civil and respectful. Engage with respect and decency. This is the biggest one. Okay? I've been seeing some stuff getting a little bit out of hand, and frankly, it's been frustrating. It's been frustrating to watch, and I think that there's a lot of people who would partake on this channel, who would engage with the chat, who, you know, who would like to be part of the community, but maybe are not really feeling it because it seems like people are, you know, some people are not really being, well, frankly, respectful enough, you know? So that's the first guideline. I want people to just treat others with a modicum of respect and decency. Okay. The second guideline, and this is another really important one, challenge the argument, not the person. 99% of the times when people start arguing and becoming disrespectful, it's because it turns into something it shouldn't be, where somebody said something that somebody else disagrees with. And this isn't all the time, but, you know, challenge the argument, not the person. I see people getting, you know, I do see people getting, you know, kind of going at each other, and they end up not actually having a proper discourse or in back and forth engagement over the thing that they're disagreeing with to begin with. All right. And the third and final thing here, and this one can vary a little bit because I'm guilty of this myself. Stick to the topic, don't spam, and take it easy. All right. That's the third guideline. Now, of course, I wrote these guidelines for myself as well. I'm going to try to stick to the topic. So I'm very much, we're in this together. I'm guilty of this as well. So those are the, again, they're very basic, very simple, but I just want it to be known that, I want the chat to clean up a little bit. I want people to chill out a little bit as well. And I feel as though now is a good time to do this going into 2026 because, yes, things are getting crazy out there. No, I also want to apologize for that, Irfan. This is not the new stream or time for the stream to go out regularly. I was just running a little bit late today. We got a ton of snow, and it's been kind of messing everything up timing-wise. So that's why it's been a little bit all over the place the last 48 hours. All right. Rich, at the rate you're going, you're gonna be the first one banned, bro. I'm sorry, but all right. So yeah, today, guys, like I said, I'm going to be going over my top 5 games that I played in 2025, and I want you guys to kind of chime in as well. Obviously, I didn't tell you guys to come prepared with a top 5 list, but as we're going down this list, you can just chime in, tell me what some of your favorite games are, or if maybe one of the games that I have on my list happens to be one of yours as well. I think we're going to see that today. So I'm going to start with going over my top 5, and then my number 1 will obviously be my game of the year, which I don't think any of this is secretive. But again, I'm looking to have some end of the year wrap up conversations. Whiskey Gaming says Black Ops 7, baby, is his game of the year. Right off the bat, Whiskey Gaming, you're making me challenge my own guidelines. Steven, you're saying it's super cold. Wind chill is 3 degrees. Yeah. We got like a serious cold front going on. A ton of snow outside right now. Titus, what's going on, man? And Big Noise, I didn't answer your question earlier. I would say, yeah, I haven't noticed anything, I haven't noticed anything. Again, this is all, I don't want to put too much of a focus on it, but this is all just in an effort where it's like, I have to take back a little bit of control over the channel here. Sometimes I'm a little bit too laissez-faire, I guess we could say. And that's, I don't want people to think like you have to be like uptight or anything, or like you can't have a little bit of fun. You can, but I've been noticing, just been noticing a couple of things. That's all. Rich, all right, listen. Rich, I have to ask you a serious question. This is a dead serious question. Like, do you literally want to get banned? Because I would find that hard to believe. Like, I believe in my heart of hearts that you don't want that you want to be part of the community and you want to engage in some conversation. Rich just wants to fight. He says, no, I don't want to be banned, but still no peace. Well, I changed my thing up a little bit here. I don't know. Did that pop up on screen? There we go. There, you can actually kind of read what's being said now. Although, great first message from Rich Rod. What do we get for the 1,000? Asks Whiskey Gaming. Well, the idea is, Whiskey, we're going to be doing a morning with the missus this Thursday, okay, for channel members. Going to be doing a very special Christmas morning with the missus. We hit 1,000. I dress up as Santa Claus, and Mrs. MBG dresses up as Mrs. Claus. Was I going to do that either way? Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. But yeah, Whiskey, that's what we're going to be doing. It has to be on Thursday. I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience for some people if you're not able to tune into that live. No, that's what I'm. Yeah, Whiskey. You're right. You got me. You got me. No, I was going to be. We're dressing up anyway. We hit the goal. To be honest, the 1,000 is just there for the sake of it. It's because I don't want to remove the goal of like 700. Well, we're at 738. I don't want to remove that until we're finished with the morning with the misses, only because, well, I mean, you guys got to that 700 mark for that stream. So once we do that stream, we'll reset it and we'll just go back to the normal member stuff. But yeah, we don't have to hit the 1,000. We don't have to. It's not like some kind of requirement. It's just there as like kind of the, I don't know, I guess final end boss or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna be, like I said, we're gonna be doing that this Thursday. I know it's gonna be a little bit inconvenient because the timing of it. Thursday is the only day we can make that happen. Me and Mrs. MBG, that is. So I do apologize in advance if you're not gonna be able to tune in live. You'll be able to watch it, after the fact though, as long as you're a channel member. So no worries there. We're moving the goalpost, Whiskey. That's what we do. That's what we do here. Yeah, Rich, listen, Rich, I'm just going to let you know now before we go any further. Something I'm going to be not doing going forward. And this is like a serious thing. All right. Like I'm trying to maintain like my good attitude, but like some people on the channel, and Rich, I'm sorry if you take offense to this. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I got to be real. Some people on the channel got to realize, like, I'm trying to go in the direction of I want this to be a gaming discussion channel. Okay. And I have no problem with some people wanting to, make it more community driven. I actually appreciate that and I want that. However, Rich, and this goes for others as well, that I'm not going to bother naming because it's unnecessary. In order for me to go in that direction, we have to get away from, like, I just want you to have normal messages, bro. That's all I'm asking for. Like, messages that can be conducive towards having gaming related discussions. Michael, it's not you, bro. You're not a problem at all. I'm not talking about you, Michael. Like, I'm at a point where I'm going to have to start just calling people out and naming names. Like, I love my community here. I love you guys, but there's just sometimes it's taken too far. And I'm trying to just wrangle that in where it's like, I have a place I want us to go. And Rich, I want you to be part of that. I'm begging you. I'm begging you at this point. So, Rich, I have no choice. Not going to ban you. It would take to be clear, it would take a lot to ban Rich. He's a good dude. All right. And I don't want to ban anybody. I want to make that crystal clear. I don't want to ban anybody. I don't want to remove anybody. I want as many people here engaged and hanging out as humanly possible. But I just need to make it clear that, Rich, if you are going to drop messages like that, I'm not going to read them. Okay? They'll still pop up. People can read them on the screen if they want. But, I'm trying to... Rich has 1 HP left. I'm just trying to make it clear to people that, like, I'm serious about trying to go in a better direction here. I really am. And I just want people to be on board with that. And I want us to be on the same page. Again, it doesn't mean we can't joke around and laugh and have a good time. We can do all that stuff. But you guys know, without going into it, that we are very much in a position where if I make a joke or if somebody else makes a joke and I read that joke, it's not going to be taken that way. Unfortunately, I hate the fact that that's where we are. That's the way it's been for a little bit. I'll read this one, though. He says, exactly PlayStation Gaming. Make me a mod, and I will keep all the poison in check. This guy. You want peace? I will create peace with force. But, Rich, that's my job. That's my job, buddy. Rich, if you can prove to me, listen, if we can reform you, if we can completely reform you and you can prove to me that you're reformed, maybe. And that's a big maybe. Okay? But you would have to prove it. You'd have to prove it. Okay? So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. And yeah, I'll be honest as well, Rich. I was looking over my mods today. We have like too many mods. I'm going to be honest. We have too many. And I don't necessarily want to take mod ship away from anybody, you know? So I did miss a super chat. And Rich, you did say everyone 1K and I become a mod. Let's do it. I love how Rich is trying very hard to leverage the if we can hit 1K. In that case, Rich, can I buy back member gifts? All right. That's enough. Side note, keep the beard. It's where it's at. Looks good. You look younger. Oh, you mean keep the shaved beard? Like where I'm at now? Yo, Rich Rod, he's pulling the I'm wounded. The scruff looks better. Everybody liked the goatee. I'll tell you that. When I was shaving it live, I did like a little goatee. Everybody was like, that's the look, bro. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Marathon tomorrow. That's probably going to be a main. They put that information out as soon as I went live, and I already had today's topic ready to go. You love this new look, May Tom? Wow. Okay. Well, you guys have to understand, it's not completely up to me. It's not completely up to me. You know, Mrs. MBG loves the beard. If it was up to Mrs. MBG, I would have a Kratos beard right now. She loves beards like that. So, you know, enjoy it while it's here, guys. Enjoy it while it's here, because it's probably just going to go back to the way it was, or even longer next time. Channing Tatum look. Oh, boy. All right. Well, guys, sorry to keep you waiting. Sorry I had to spend the first segment of the stream talking about stuff. By the way, so I'm going to do this because I didn't get to see what it looks like. I think super chats popping up on screen are broken. I'm not saying you have to super chat, but yeah, it's like not showing up for some reason. It's showing up in the chat box, but not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's bugged or what. Well, Michael dropped a $2 chat saying, "Is it broken?" It seems like it. It's weird because like the direct donations pop up, but not super chats. Do you like the new design? Yeah, I decided to like mess with it a little bit. I kind of like the way it looks too. It's a little bit more. Okay, yeah, they're like not showing up for some reason. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can fix this real quick. Sorry. I anticipated that. Oh, you can see them? Wait, are you seeing them pop up on the screen? You should see them in the chat. They're definitely on the chat, but on screen, they're not showing. All right, let me just see if I can fix this real quick. We'll do it live. Because it was giving me a problem when I was setting it up earlier, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just bugged on my end because I'm not actually streaming. I thought once we went live, maybe it would correct itself. I'm on YouTube, and super chats are enabled. Everything. Let me see if this fixed it. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Yeah. All right, we got it. We're good. Yeah, hopefully you guys can read it a little bit better now, too, when it pops up on screen. So thank you, Whiskey Gaming and Michael Wernick, for testing that for me. And so yeah, with that being said, I think we're gonna dive into it. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. I know people are gonna come in talking about Marathon. You know what's crazy is I even streamed later today than normal. I streamed later than normal. Ray, don't worry, it's not your fault today. I've only been live for like 27 minutes. I was a little bit late. But of course, even on the day where I'm late, oh, you want to go live at 1? Release the Marathon news. You like this streaming time, Mini Tom? Guys, by the way, the Rich Rod tariff is in full effect. We're going to need some membership gifts for this guy. He says, I am demanding a trade. You can probably get a haul for Rich Rod. I will enact my mod clause, though. Whoever accepts the trade has to make me a mod. Oh, okay. So you're saying if somebody's willing to step down as a mod, then you'll take up that mantle. I don't think anybody's going to let go, man, of their modship. I mean, it is a good question, though. Is there anybody here who doesn't want to be a mod anymore? Because that's totally fine. Like, I would understand. I never really asked anybody that, but it's probably worth asking. All right. All right. By the way, we're going to dive into it. I'm going to start at my number 5. But before I do that, I got to say one more thing before we proceed. And that is, you guys were asking earlier what happens if we hit 1,000. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to take those suggestions, but I'm just saying I couldn't really think of anything. So if you guys have any ideas or anything specifically where if we hit a goal of 1,000, something within reason, bald head reveal, I already did that, though. I already did that. Yeah, Rich, I think you're out of luck, bro. All my mods want to stay mods. So you guys have, just the chest reveal. Oh my God. That would be quite the shocker. Shave all body. See, I knew you guys were immediately going to get ridiculous. I mean, I guess the chest reveal isn't too ridiculous, but it just feels weird. What am I to you guys? Just a piece of meat? Chest reveal. Shave a PlayStation logo into the chest hair. I can't do that, man. I mean, I guess that's actually kind of reasonable, but I don't know. Can it be my back hair? I'm going to shave a PlayStation logo into my back hair. Guys, listen, if you appreciate the streams, I'm sorry. The beginning of the stream is a little bit strange today. I do apologize for that. It's not going to be like this every stream going forward. You know that. But if you enjoy the streams, if you enjoy the podcast, make sure you hit the like button. It helps them out more than you know. It helps with YouTube's algorithm. Groovin's like, don't do it, bro. We talked about this. That's funny. Play a ukulele and sing a Christmas carol. If I had a ukulele, I'd actually maybe take that one up. I mean, yeah, the whole PlayStation logo being shaved into my body hair, it's... Oof. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. That's going to go viral, and that's not going to be good for me in the long run. Come on, guys. Can't we do something, like, easy? Like, I'll shave a PlayStation logo in the boss. There we go. He doesn't care. The one no reeler says, let's get the likes up to at least 100. A game quiz. Well, I'll think about it. Bring out the clown wig. Yeah, I mean, that's doable. That's pretty easy. I don't know if that's too easy, though. Clown wig Santa? Clown wig Santa with reps. This is clearly what you guys want. The P.O. box. Dude, that's Joshua. I like that one because it's funny. Hey, guys, if we hit 1,000 members, I'll open the P.O. box so you can give me more stuff. I like the way Joshua thinks. See, why's Rich got to be like this, bro? He says, I'm retiring from being an active member. I will still lurk, but no more Rich Rod antics. This is the life you all chose. Never forget Rich Rod. Like, bro can't just come in and be like, you know what, guys? I think I'm just going to be normal now. Well, that's fine, Rich. I can respect it. I can respect it. Just drop an occasional member gift, you know? Remind us you're still here. Oh, geez. Whiskey Gaming. Oh, man. Yeah, Ray, that's true, too. All right. All right. I should probably get into the topics now. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sticking with me here. It's got to be a big P.O. box. Bro, you send me a cheese wheel, I'm going to throw it out live on Stream Whiskey. The wheel is quite large. Whiskey, I'm not going to lie. I feel like you're damn near threatening me at this point. Feels like a threat. He's like, what? Those things ain't cheap. I'm not the biggest fan of cheese, Whiskey Gaming. A giant cheese wheel. That's a crazy gift. All right. We're diving into it. We're diving into it. I appreciate you guys being patient and letting me just kind of free flow, I guess. All right. So, top 5 games of 2025. I was looking over the list of games I played. So, I have to say something first and foremost here. And that is that I'm very disappointed in myself this year. I have to say. I'm disappointed in myself because I was looking back and I'm like, I really didn't play many games. I really didn't. In fact, like my list is so obvious. Now, to be clear, the 5 games that I have on my list, these are not the only games I played. But when I looked the list over, I was like, man, I really didn't play many games this year. And I guess before I go over my number 5 here, I just wanted to say that that's kind of going to change going into 2026. At least that's my hope. I'm gonna seriously start trying to play more games. I'm not gonna like force myself to play games I don't want to play or don't like. Not necessarily that, but I'm gonna make a much more concerted effort to month over month try to play more games. Obviously, there's so many games that are going to be coming out next year that I don't know that this will be a problem, to be honest. And to be clear, there are games that I played this year that I just didn't finish as well. So every game that I have on my top 5, I did finish. Okay, like I completed from start to finish, or in most cases, I got the platinum. So I do want to make that clear as well. But we're going to start here with my number 5 game for 2025. And my number 5 game, I don't know if it's going to be surprising to some of you, but Battlefield 6. Yeah, I was looking over my list and there was I'm like, which game here needs to take the number 5 spot? Which game? And Battlefield 6, I think, is the one that deserves it because it's not like something that I've been obsessively playing. But a little bit of history with me in Battlefield is I'm a longtime Battlefield player. I'm a longtime Battlefield fan. And so leading up to Battlefield 6 this year, I have to admit, I had pretty much no excitement for it. I felt like I was pretty much done with the Battlefield franchise. And again, I don't know if this is a game I'm going to be sticking to for very long. I haven't been playing it that much lately, but I had my time with it, I had about 30, 35 hours, not playing the campaign, but just playing the multiplayer. And my whole thing going into Battlefield 6 was I really hope that it's not like smoke and mirrors. I hope it's not a situation where it's just pure hype, no substance, and it's one of these things where everybody got ahead of themselves and it's not actually a return to Battlefield. Yeah, Tarnish, thank you for letting me know about that. We're probably going to cover that tomorrow properly. That came out as soon as I went live. Did I play Hardline? I did. I thought Hardline was okay. I actually, yeah, so I remember when Hardline came out, I was like, I don't get like all the hate around it. But then I kind of started to understand, well, I guess this is very different from what a traditional Battlefield game would be like. But I looked at it and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I actually found that I enjoyed it way more than I expected. So I think people were a little bit overly harsh on Battlefield Hardline. But I would say Battlefield lost me maybe after, was it Battlefield 1? I mean, I played Battlefield 5 a little bit, but I was like, I'm not really digging Battlefield 5 that much. And then the last Battlefield that came out, what was it, 2042? That's when they truly lost me. I'm like, I'm out. Like at that point, I'm like, I guess I'm no longer a Battlefield fan. So then when Battlefield 6 came out, I was like, yeah, okay. I'm watching the trailers, I'm seeing the build up, but then I got to play the beta. And when I played the beta, that's when it kind of hit me like, yeah, they definitely knocked it out of the park here. Like this is truly a return to form. And so I really felt like Battlefield had to take the number 5 spot because again, I didn't play that many games this year, but one of the games I did play was Battlefield 6, and I really enjoyed my time with it. And I'll probably go back and play it at some point. I've been kind of looking at upcoming games, or not just upcoming games, but I've been kind of compiling a list of games that I want to play in the coming month or two, and I just don't know how much time I'm going to have to dedicate to it. But definitely have to give a shout out to DICE, or I guess they're known as Battlefield Studios now. I think they did a really good job. The pressure was on this year. They could have messed it up in many different ways. I don't know if people are still playing it as much as they were at launch, but you were talking smack in the Battlefield 6 lobby. Hardline was amazing. 4 and Battlefield 1 were the best for me. Battlefield 1 was a true high point for the series, I think. I really think it was a high point. We have Sad Times. Not sure who Sad Times is, but a direct donation says, going to miss Rich Rod. I think he's for real. Shouldn't have been disgusting, though. Rip to Rich Rod. Well, Sad Times, I appreciate the direct donation, buddy. And Rich is always welcome. He's always welcome. You guys know that. He knows that. It's definitely not Rich Rod. Definitely not. But Sad Times, I appreciate the direct donation. MBG is going to dedicate all of 2026 to NAC 2. Unfortunately, I'm not. No. Come on, boss. Chill. So yeah, I'm going to move past the number 5 pretty quickly, and I'm going to go to my number 4. Okay. Now, this may surprise some of you. I'm not sure how surprising this is going to be to you guys, but my number 4 game for 2025 is Ghost of Yotei. The reason why I'm saying that might surprise some of you is because I think some people would have thought it would be lower on the list. But Ghost of Yotei had to take the number 4 spot. I mean, what can I say at this point about Ghost of Yotei? It's a game that I think is a standout for the year for me. I think it's a very well-made game. I think it's a game that had some unnecessary drama around it, of course. But all in all, my experience with Ghost of Yotei is I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. It got a little bit long in the tooth when it came to getting the platinum, but on the flip side of that, it was more, generally speaking, of what I wanted in terms of I loved Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was a great game, one of my favorites last generation. And, it was a little bit of an adjustment, obviously, when this game was first revealed, where it's like, we're not going back to Jin. It's not a direct sequel to Tsushima. It's something new. It's 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima. And so there was this natural, like, oh, okay, I guess this is going to be very different in some sense. But then you realize that actually, while you're playing Ghost of Yotei, it's not very different. There are some differences. I mean, the most obvious being a new protagonist and a new story. But generally speaking, it felt like almost like a natural continuation of Ghost of Tsushima, and almost every area of the game was improved upon. Ghost of Yotei, I do think at this point, if Sucker Punch wants to go and do something else, I think Ghost of Yotei is a good end cap, where if this is how they just kind of want to wrap up the Ghost franchise, I suppose, or maybe take a break from it and come back to it way later down the line, I think Ghost of Yotei kind of serves as a solid point to wrap it up if you want. But at the same time, you can also kind of see how, depending on what era they might want to go in the future, they could definitely take it even further. But I think if they do that, it's going to feel very different from both Ghost of Tsushima and Yotei, which wouldn't be a bad thing. But my time with Ghost of Yotei, generally speaking, I put, I think, like 65 or 68, between 65 and 68 hours into it. I got the platinum. I have almost every single trophy. I just still need to get the trophy to beat the game on New Game Plus. But the only real negative for me with Ghost of Yotei, I'd say there's two. There's only two negatives. The first is, like I said, by the time I beat the game, all the extra stuff that I had to do to get the platinum was a little bit disappointing, where, a lot of it was fine and enjoyable. Other aspects of it, it's like, okay, this is becoming a bit grindy, and I'm just kind of eager to wrap up the platinum. And that's hard for me to hold that against the game, only because, again, getting a platinum isn't, it's optional. You don't have to do that. That's not a requirement. But the other thing that I would consider a negative of Ghost of Yotei is, and I don't know that this is so much Ghost of Yotei's fault as much as it's the timing of when it released. A negative for Ghost of Yotei is that it was the first PlayStation Studios title this generation that I played where I finally got to that point where it's like, okay, I'm now feeling the sequel fatigue. Slightly. Not like severely where it's like I don't even want to play this and I want nothing to do with it. Not like that. But we know that most of this generation has been made up of, sequels to games. God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, stuff like that. Spider-Man 2. Yeah, the sequelitis. And I think Ghost of Yotei, for me, it just kind of was at this point where it's like, okay, like maybe I didn't feel as strongly about this for something like Ragnarok because of the timing, right? Same thing with Forbidden West coming out in the beginning of 2022. But as the generation has went on, I just kind of, when I played Ghost of Yotei, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely a sequel, It definitely has me in this place now where I'm like, I'm ready for something new. And I'm a little bit fearful that this feeling is going to continue with Soros. I hope not. Soros is looking like they're changing things up enough with that game where it shouldn't feel that way. That's my hope. Wolverine, I don't have that fear at all. And obviously with something like Intergalactic coming, I don't have that fear. And I guess it's just unfortunate timing for Ghost of Yotei, where if Ghost of Yotei came out earlier in the gen, I probably would have not felt as strongly about like, okay, the sequelitis is starting to get to me now. I'm excited for Legends 2 as well. And I'm curious to see how that frames my overall feeling towards Ghost of Yotei. Because I can't deny that I did just overall enjoy Tsushima more. And I just think when I'm thinking about Tsushima, I'm thinking not just about Tsushima, I'm thinking about the Icky Island DLC, I'm thinking about Legends, thinking about all these things. And I'm curious to see if we get DLC, like a proper DLC expansion for Yote. And if we do, what that means, for the character, for the story. I don't know if it'd be like a prequel or something. Will, you're saying that's wild, MBG. I enjoyed Yote way more. Well, there are certain aspects of Yote that I did enjoy more. I'm just saying it's like an overall package. Because somebody's asking, like, even the combat. I will say the combat in Yote, I mean, it's hard for me to say it wasn't better or more enjoyable. Because, I mean, the reality is they're giving me more weapons. They're giving me more tools to tackle enemies with. And these weapons have a completely different feel from the katana. So while I liked the stances in Tsushima, I will say that having different weapons and a different variety of weapons, generally speaking, in Yote did feel better. It did feel better. And also the fact that I will say, because in Yote, Atsu is kind of like just free to do what she wants. Like, she's not bound by any code or anything. They kind of expanded upon that, where one of my favorite things to do in Ghost of Yote with the combat is picking up an enemy's weapon and hurling it at another enemy and just immediately destroying them. Stuff like that, I feel like is it does kind of go a long way when you're playing a game that's so combat heavy. You're fighting so many enemies. Little things like that really kind of add enough variation where it's like, okay, this definitely, I wasn't doing stuff like this in Tsushima. But I just think in the overall package, I'm still a bigger fan of Tsushima. I did like Jin more as a character. I think Atsu was a good character. I enjoyed her story and her journey. But I just can't shake the true feeling inside of me that, like, yeah, I liked Ghost of Tsushima more. But I am still very excited for Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yote Legends. I did play Legends for Tsushima. I did everything you could do. I even did the raid, which was crazy. So I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see with Ghost of Yote Legends if it's going to be just a 1-to-1, like, here it is again, like to a T, or if it's going to actually offer some things that are distinctly different from Tsushima, or yeah, Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I mean, I would assume they're going to have some things there that'll be different, but yeah, all this is to say that it's still one of my top games of the year. Yote was a very enjoyable experience, very well made. Have to give a lot of credit to Sucker Punch. Like I said, I think that there was some unnecessary drama with this game, unfortunately. Some of it is understandable, but the majority of it is like, what are we doing here, right? That type of stuff. And I think it's just been a little bit of a bumpy road. Certainly not what it was like with the reveal of Ghost of Tsushima up to the, the launch of it. I think Yote was almost kind of the opposite of that. But at the end of the day, this is why I always tell people, like, you got to just give these games room to breathe, man. You have to just let the games speak for themselves. Let the devs show you what they cooked up. And I think Ghost of Yote is kind of proof that Sucker Punch still has it, man. They made a fantastic sequel, a fantastic follow-up. It's a very high-quality, well-made game. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I think it's a game that, frankly, does deserve, at the very least, a level of respect where it's like they made a good, competent video game that most people who choose to engage with it can find something good there and have some level of fun. But for me, I really enjoyed it. And so going to be really, really interested to see what Sucker Punch decides to do next. PvP duels would be fire. Probably get your ass kicked, though. That's one thing I'm really surprised they haven't done yet. I imagine it's pretty difficult. It's something that would require quite a bit of dev time, because it's just, I mean, I don't, as far as I'm aware, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in this, I don't think Sucker Punch ever made a PvP game. ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they ever did. So that would be a first for them, I believe. I will say, though, that would be amazing, right? Like if they come out with Ghost of Yotei Legends and they're like, one of the new features we're going to have in this multiplayer is you can do PvP duels and battles. That would be amazing. And it would add a certain longevity to the game that just wasn't present with Ghost of Tsushima Legends. So I'd be all for that. Yeah, people want Sucker Punch to return to Infamous. I don't think they're going to return to Infamous. I would be surprised if they did. It'd be so cool if they did, though. I don't know what they're going to do next. They didn't really make it clear. I'm sure they don't even know yet. They're probably in the process right now, or probably after the holiday season, when they come back to the offices, they'll probably start, spitballing ideas, thinking about what they want to do. We want Sucker Punch to do a new Order game. Order 1887, developed by Sucker Punch. Sure, why not? Sly Cooper. A lot of people would like to see Sly Cooper come back. Big Noids, you're saying Tsushima, you started Ghost of Tsushima but never finished it. It's worth maybe going back to it at some point, I would say. I mean, that happens to me too. I totally get it. Where you just, you start a game, you walk away from it for a while, and you just never get back to it. But Tsushima was really good. The story of Tsushima was more impactful to me overall than Yotei's. Yotei's was very good, though, too. Like, again, just want to give more credit to Sucker Punch, where obviously this game has some haters. But I've seen some of the criticism that people throw at a game like Ghost of Yotei, and I'm not even like coming out here as Ghost of Yotei Defense Force, but I just think that some of the criticism that people have thrown towards it is just flat out wrong. Like, the game has pretty good writing, it has pretty good writing, it has pretty good gameplay mechanics, or very good gameplay mechanics. It's one of these things where I think people, even people who try to go out of their way to find things wrong with it, it's like, you're kind of going to have a hard time. You're really going to have to become nitpicky, I think. And so I think that's just kind of a testament to, the overall package that they made. It's a very, very solid one. So that's my number 4 game, guys, of the year. So number 5, again, just to recap, was Battlefield 6. Number 4 is Ghost of Yotei. Now I'm going to move on to my number 3. My number 3 game for 2025. This one probably won't be a surprise. I'm going to be honest, none of these games are probably going to be a surprise for anybody, but my number 3 is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This one, I mean, I think in most other years it probably would have been lower on the list, but if you were here for me talking about my thoughts and my feelings on Metal Gear Solid Delta, you know that it was by far one of my most anticipated games of the year. And it was a game that, well, frankly, once it was announced, I just couldn't stop thinking about. And when we think about Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, the original, I don't think I'm alone in saying that this was a game that was really special to me. It's a game I consider special. It's something that certainly molded my passion, I guess you could say, for video games. And I always was curious about what Konami would do with the Metal Gear Solid franchise after Kojima was unceremoniously, kicked out of Konami. And I kind of was just at peace with the idea of maybe Konami just won't do anything with Metal Gear Solid. But then, we heard the rumors. I don't know if you guys remember going back to 2020. There was like rumors that there's a PS5 Metal Gear Solid 1 remake in development, right? And it was like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. Who's making it? A couple years goes by, we don't hear anything. Seems like it wasn't true. Then we find out that no, actually, they're remaking a Metal Gear Solid game, but they're actually starting with Snake Eater, which from a timeline perspective makes sense. But there was a lot of trepidation. I was hyped from day one, where I'm like, yes, I believe Konami can do this. I think they can do a good job. A lot of people were very nervous that Konami was going to screw it up, which is understandable and reasonable. But I had faith that they would nail it. And the more I heard about the game, the more it became clear that they're just not planning on making any massive changes. The more I had a high, like, I guess you could say the more my high level of confidence felt justified. Lies of P, Silent Hill 2. I would count those games, but those were on my 2024 list. Yeah. But yeah, those were some amazing games as well. So I played a lot of Metal Gear Solid. Actually, when it comes to my most played games this year, MGS Delta is really high up there because, well, I think I spent about 45 hours playing the game, beating it, platinuming it, and then from that point forward, I was just waiting for the Fox Hunt multiplayer. And then when the Fox Hunt multiplayer came out, I think I put like another 100 hours, more than that, actually, probably like 110 hours or something into the multiplayer. Now, granted, it's pretty much dead at this point and it's dying. So there's nothing I can do about that. But definitely one of my favorite experiences of the year. I was really happy to see that Konami was able to find this perfect middle ground of really changing certain aspects of the game that needed to be changed in order for it to feel like a contemporary game. That they didn't change a lot, but the few things they did, it's like you found that perfect balance where they didn't change anything beyond that. They didn't alter any of the cut scenes as far as I'm aware. They didn't take anything out. They didn't add anything unnecessarily. They found that exact balance that needed to be struck for their first ever remake of a Metal Gear Solid game without Hideo Kojima being at Konami. And I think that they deserve a lot of credit because I think that they could have easily messed it up by getting overly ambitious or deciding that, you know, something dramatic had to change or whatever. And so, yeah, it's one of these things where it was a really awesome thing to see multiple people on my channel here who never played Metal Gear Solid before playing Metal Gear Delta for the first time. And I don't know how much I inspired that because I know like some people were saying they were going to give it a shot because they hear how much I love Metal Gear and how positive I've been about it over the years. But it was cool. It was cool to see that, you know, seeing people experience it. And what was also funny about it is I encountered a couple people this year that were like, they didn't realize what they were getting into. Like they thought Metal Gear Solid was like a dead serious franchise and like they just weren't expecting some of the craziness and over the top silliness that is present in Metal Gear Solid Delta or Metal Gear Snake Eater. So that was really fun to see, man. It was a good ride, you know. And at this point, I think, just as I said, is I'm curious to see what Sucker Punch does next. I'm also very curious to see what Konami does next with the Metal Gear franchise. They said officially that they are working on a Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2. They didn't say which games are going to be in it, but you know, that's next up, and I'm sure they're going to have another remake. And so, yeah, number 3 absolutely has to go to Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Raven, you're saying Konami have bounced back since the 2015 days. Those years were bad. Now coming back with Silent Hill, Castlevania, and MGS, and especially new IPs. Yeah, dude. Konami, I mean, again, I was at a point with them where I'm like, all right, well, if nothing ever happens with Metal Gear again, then okay. You know, like I can live with that, I guess. Maybe it's for the best, but there was always this small hope in me. And it grew as we got further into the PS5 generation, obviously. Well, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't small. If you go back to 2020, I was hyping up like the rumors of Metal Gear, you know, being remade. But, you know, from like 2017, 2018, 2019, I just had very little hope. I was like, I think Konami's just finished. I saw what they did with the pachinko machine, and I'm like, you kidding me? So I do agree with you, Raven. It's good to see that they've really bounced back in a significant way, and they're taking gaming much more seriously. And, you know, I think the future is looking brighter. Astrobot, yeah, we're probably going to react to that tomorrow and discuss that tomorrow. But yeah, we're now going to move on to the number 2 game on my list here. All right, so just another recap. Number 5, Battlefield 6. Number 4, Ghost of Yotei. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Number 2 is Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which just won Game of the Year. And yeah, this was a tough one, man, because this was this close to being my number 1. Shocker of a game, I gotta say. You know, my experience with Claire Obscure is such a strange one, at least to me, because as you guys know, earlier in the year, I was offered a review code for it, which I was really hesitant on taking because I don't usually take review codes, you know? Like I was like, okay, well, you know what? I saw this game a couple times. I saw this game a couple times at different gaming events, and I thought, you know, the art style looked pretty cool to me, and I was just very intimidated by it. I'm like, I don't play turn-based RPGs. I've never really sat down and played a turn-based RPG from start to finish. So when I was offered this review code, I just decided to take a chance on it, and I was completely prepared to not like it. I was prepared to feel like, yeah, this just isn't for me. I took a chance. I tried it. It just isn't clicking. So I was quite shocked to have the exact opposite happen. You know, I played it and reviewed it, and I put like 70 hours, give or take, into it, and I just couldn't believe how thoroughly I was enjoying it. And yeah, the biggest thing for me was how much I actually enjoyed the turn-based aspect of it, where as somebody again who's never played a turn-based game from start to finish or really for that long at all, and I could never really get into those types of games. I don't know what it was about Claire Obscure. Maybe it was due to the fact that it still felt a little bit real time where you can dodge and parry and stuff like that. It feels like it just started, I don't know, it just felt like it was clicking. It was just clicking and clicking more and then clicking some more. And then I started really getting immersed in the story, the characters, the world building, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, by the time I finished it, if you guys recall, I was saying that like this was my game of the year. And obviously, it's not my game of the year. There's one other game, which a lot of you probably know which one it is. There was one other game that actually ended up just barely, I mean, by a very small margin, overtaking Claire Obscure for me. Um, but Claire Obscure, I mean, I almost want to say this game is tied for game of the year with me, but it was a really fantastic experience and something that kind of opened my eyes to the turn-based RPG genre in a way that frankly no other game did. And I have to admit that even though I was doubtful, I guess there was just something there that even with what they presented with the trailers and the look of the game, I'm like there is still a reason I decided to go for it because I'm like, yeah, something here looks like it. I don't know. It looks different. There's something different about this game. I can't quite put my finger on it. Whiskey, you're saying you've tried several through the years, just never clicks with me. What with turn-based RPGs? Yeah, and I hear you. I didn't just decide after completing Claire Obscure, like now I'm going to go play every turn-based RPG. Um, I didn't feel that way either. Like I I don't know that my view on turn-based RPGs has actually changed that much, other than it's just like whatever we get from Sandfall next. If we get like Claire Obscure 2, you know, or another turn-based RPG, another new IP, like I'll be there. I'll play their game. Will I be more willing to try other turn-based RPGs? Maybe at certain points in time. But oh, you tried playing Baldur's Gate 3, couldn't get into it. Baldur's Gate 3 was another one that people kept recommending to me, but I was like, at the time, I'm like, I don't know, man. It looks way too intimidating to me. I don't think that's gonna click with me. And you know, but sometimes you take a chance on some of these games and it just, you know, you're surprised. You're surprised. Don't worry, it'll grow back. You would like a Legend of Dragoon remake? A lot of people want to see that game remade, dude. A lot of people. You have to imagine it'll happen at some point, right? But yeah, man, my number 2 game for the entirety of 2025 has to go to Claire Obscure. Um, if it wasn't for the number 1 game that I'm going to talk about, which is my game of the year, it would be number 1. It would easily take the number 1 spot and be my game of the year, because I have to say because I was seeing all the awards that Claire Obscure was winning, I was thinking back to the story of that game and the characters and my experience and my time with it. And yeah, man, it is one of these things where I know that there's a little bit of argumentation, I guess you could say, happening across the internet with Claire Obscure winning Game of the Year or winning so many awards. But I really do thoroughly believe that, genuinely and thoroughly believe, that it's deserving of it. I say this because, well, frankly, it's not even just because of the size of the studio. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's because they're indie. I don't think so, man. I really don't. Like, when I was playing this game, I didn't know much about the team. Like, I didn't know that they were small. I had some kind of idea that, like, this is their first game and, like, they're really trying to get people excited for it. But I didn't know much about the development cycle. I didn't know all the things that I know now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I was playing it, all these thoughts I had, like how good this game is, they weren't derived from originally, like, well, it's this good because I know 30 people made it. It was only after the fact. It was like, as I got like 50 hours into the game or close to the beating the game, I started to find out more about it, where it's like, no, dude, this is a really, really small team. Like, they're hiring people that aren't even involved in the gaming industry to come make this game and be part of their team. When I found that stuff out about it, like after the fact or close to completing the game, that's when my mind really started to get blown, where I'm like, yo, what? How is that even possible? So I just want to put that out here too. Like, I think some of the people saying that Claire Obscure is only, it's only getting the attention it's getting, or it's only winning the awards it's winning because it's an indie game. I don't agree with that. I do think it adds to it, though. I think it makes it go from like, wow, that's a really good game that's winning Game of the Year, to like, oh my God. Like, I can't believe that this team pulled something like this off, being as small as they are. So shout out to Sandfall Interactive. Really great game with Claire Obscure, and I very much look forward to seeing what they do next. But with that being said, we are now going to move on to my number 1 game. My game of the year, boss. You have to get down, dude. You're going to knock it over. My personal game of the year for 2025 takes the number 1 spot. Again, I don't think it's going to be a shocker to anybody. That is going to be Death Stranding 2 on the beach. No, we're not doing that. I have to give it to Death Stranding 2. There's a lot of reasons why I'm giving Death Stranding 2 Game of the Year. You thought I didn't like Death Stranding 2? No, absolutely not. It's quite the opposite. I did a spoiler cast and everything on the channel. Now here's the thing. When I was playing Death Stranding 2, it did not become my game of the year until, I would say, the last act of the game. And that's important to highlight, because people were asking me all throughout the year, like, what's your game of the year? What's your game of the year? And the way I always described it was, well, after I played Claire Obscure, that was my game of the year, right? And then if Death Stranding 2, after I complete it, that becomes my new game of the year. This is Death Stranding 2. It's like that much. Okay. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that is because there's a couple of things that happen in Death Stranding 2, specifically, story-wise, with some characters that, I experienced something at the beginning of this year that changed me and changed my life, and, a really terrible tragedy. And I can't lie that that had such a profound impact on how I felt about Death Stranding 2 once I got to the end of that game and once I completed it, where um it has to do with my cousin and his passing, but my cousin, he was such a Metal Gear Solid fan. He's the one who got me into Metal Gear Solid. And there were certain things that Kojima decided to do with the character Higgs in this game. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil it, because I know some people still haven't played it yet. But once I started to encounter some of these story beats and some of these things that were going on, I mean, it hit me, you know, I know, where's the time go? It hit me in a way where I'm like, for as impactful as Claire Obscure was, this is this is taking that to the next level for me. And I know I'm just talking about the story, and it's like, well, what about the gameplay? Did you like the gameplay of Death Stranding? Absolutely. Yeah, the gameplay of Death Stranding, I think, was greatly improved upon. It's still a delivery game at its core. That didn't change. And I felt very much the way I did when I started playing Death Stranding 1, except for one major change. It was that Kojima made it obvious that, like, you will be experiencing more action in this game, and you will be, you know, there's many more aspects of this game that are going to feel like Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain than Death Stranding 1. And so I think that really did elevate the gameplay experience overall. I did get the platinum for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I think I spent 136 hours playing it. So it was a very long platinum. It was definitely a bit grindy at the end there. Um, but I mean, the entire package from top to bottom, between the story that was being told, the acting, the writing. I mean, some of it was pretty silly, but that's to be expected. And the gameplay experience, it all just kind of came together. And also just how beautiful the game looked, the Decima engine. This game looked insane on the PS5 Pro. Still, maybe the best looking game I played all year. Yeah, man, I have to give it to Kojima Productions and Death Stranding 2. I think it's an amazing game, and I think that anybody who has the opportunity to at least try it should do so. Can't promise it'll be for you. Can't promise you'll like it anywhere near as much as I did or like it at all, but still a great game. And yeah, my personal game of the year, man. You didn't like Death Stranding 1, would you recommend playing Death Stranding 2? It depends on why you didn't like Death Stranding 1. If you didn't like Death Stranding 1 because you didn't like delivering things, then don't play Death Stranding 2. Because Death Stranding 2 is still a delivery game, like I said, at the core of it. But the biggest difference, I would say, is the pacing. The pacing in Death Stranding 1 is much slower. And one of the reasons for that is because, well, not only is there just less action in general, there is more action and more combat in Death Stranding 2. But it's also just because Death Stranding 1 was a lot harder. It was just straight up a lot harder. And the difficulty came in the fact that, like, yeah, you could literally slip on one rock very easily, and that's it. You have a little bit more leeway in Death Stranding 2. Boss, you need to stop. All right, you need to chill. And we have Soyu, aka Mr. Hamster, saying, I'm halfway in Death Stranding 2. I missed the darker tone in DS1. DS2 evolves the gameplay in every way, but for now the story feels like Sam chilling in Australia. I will say that you're right about that. The first game had a much darker tone in general. I will say though, like there are certain aspects of this game that do veer into very dark territory, but it doesn't stay there long. And that's what's interesting to me. It doesn't stay there very long. I think you could make an argument that in Death Stranding 1, some of those darker tones lingered a lot longer. But yeah, man, it's just a very moving game, I think. Death Stranding 1 was a very moving game and really, I think, just kind of had an impact to anybody who beat it and completed it. And I think Death Stranding 2 is very much that as well. So shout out to Hideo Kojima once again, somehow showing up twice on this list. And Got a boss hair in my coffee. Thanks, boss. Appreciate that, man. What a way to celebrate. It's postal apocalyptic. Oh, man. Postal apocalyptic. So there you go. Those are my top 5 games that I played in 2025. And I know it's not the most exciting list. And I think, most of the list, if not the entire list, was very predictable. But also my game of the year. But, I would be remiss if I didn't do at least one stream dedicated to talking about this because I know people were going to ask. And we're going to have other streams coming up probably in the next week or two where we're going to be talking about our most anticipated games, talking about just other aspects of 2025 and looking to the future and stuff like that. Boss, chill. You need to stop. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Go lay down. You think For Loop looks cool? Um, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just in the middle. I need to see more of it. I'll tell you, like, it doesn't seem like people are super stoked for it, but it looks like it could be good. It looks like there could be a gameplay loop there that, no pun intended, that could end up being addicting and really fun to play. But Jay Shako, you're asking where your mod ship is. I don't know, Jay. For now, I think we're good. We're good for now. I have too many mods at the moment. But if the day comes where one of my mods has to step down or, something happens where I need more, I'll consider you. Lore Cannon, you're saying State of Decay 3. Yeah, I'm still waiting to see that game, dude. Where is it? I think Marathon is looking a lot better now. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's probably going to be our main topic of discussion tomorrow. They put that video out as soon as I went live, so. But, guys, I want to ask you now, what is your personal game of the year? Your number one game of 2025? I think I've seen a couple of you guys say what game it was for you, but now I'm kind of curious. Because, I was only looking at the chat while I was talking, so I probably missed a lot of answers. MBG is hiding the fact that his real game of the year is Mind's Eye. Mr. Hamster, I told you not to talk about that. Astrobot, your game of the year is Ghost of Yotei. Top 5 crash outs. That'll be the next list I do. Mr. Hamster, yours was Expedition 33. Gothmog says he played so many games this year. Michael, you're saying yours is Stellar Blade? Really? I can't. That's interesting. It's a good one, though. It's definitely a good one. Boss is making my eye itch. Why you gotta do this to me, boss? You think next year Tomb Raider might be your game of the year? I rewatched that trailer when I was making my video today. The Tomb Raider 1 reimagining actually looks really good. It's looking really good. Multiplayer game of the year for you is Arc Raiders, and single player is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Lore Cannon. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, Arc Raiders is either their full-blown game of the year or certainly their game of the year for multiplayer. Gaming Survivor says Metal Gear Solid Delta or Doom the Dark Ages. Stealth and destroying things. Yeah, they complement each other very well. The One No Reeler says, guess I didn't play enough different games. Ghost of Yotei, I haven't played Expedition or MGS. Anyone want to get me a Christmas present? Well, there's always going to be time. No Reeler. There's going to be time. There's probably going to be... Well, I was going to say there's going to be time next year, but next year is looking kind of crazy. I won't lie. Next year's looking kind of crazy. Gothmog, you're saying Battlefield 6 is probably your game of the year? Solo, you're saying was lucky enough to snag Metal Gear Solid Delta for $25 at GameStop. That is a steal. That is a steal. I know it's a couple months old at this point, but geez, man. That was a game that was being sold for $70. So 25, not bad. Star Wars Galactic Racer is your most anticipated game for next year. Wow. Too much fire to just pick one. Death Stranding 2, Silk Song, Yote, Routine. Each did it for me in a different way. Yeah, how is that game Routine? I remember seeing that a couple times. I guess you really liked it. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about 2025, man. If you look back at it, I think one of the reasons why I'm so annoyed when I was looking at all the games I played this year, one of the reasons I was so annoyed is because I'm like, dude, so many games came out and I just missed so many of them. Now, granted, that tends to happen quite a lot, but I'm going to see if I can change that going into 2026. Probably Yote is my game of the year, but Shinobi Art of Vengeance is pushing it. It's interesting. This is why I wanted to ask you guys what your personal game of the year is, because I'm seeing quite a few games that I wouldn't have thought of. Your game of the year, Pasha's Silk Song, followed by Kazan. What game? Kazan. Oh, is that first Berserker game? Wow. Okay, you really like that one. Fortnite is your game of the year. It's a judgment-free zone, man. Next year for me will probably be Ace Combat 8. I'm so ready to take to the skies again. Lore Cannon says his game of the year is Black Ops 7. Second time somebody's made that joke. You do have to wonder, though, is there somebody out there who earnestly their game of the year is Black Ops 7? There has to be somebody. Not judging. If we're judging game of the year by hours spent, then it's Path of Exile 2. That's what Spine says. Gaming Survivor says the survival zombie round in the farm is actually really fun. Or actually fun. The rest of the game is boring. Gaming Survivor, did you just self-report, bro? Tarnished, your game of the year is Night Rain. I've seen a lot of people not saying Night Rain's their game of the year, but one of the highlights of the year for them. Joshua Reese says mine was legitimately Donkey Kong Bonanza. Vinino says Expedition 33, Doom, and Mafia are my game of the year. Is it a three-way tie? Yeah, I didn't play Night Rain. I felt too intimidated by it. I was like excited for it when I saw it announced, but then when I got closer to it, I'm like, I think I'm going to pass on it. Michael says, I'm playing Black Ops 7 right now. Just got my first 16 kills without dying. We got those Call of Duty players over here. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what next year holds for Call of Duty. But Black Ops 7, I'm going to pass on that one. Yeah, that's a game that's on my list. And, you're saying I need to play Mafia. I'll love it. That's literally a game that I have on my list. Like I said, I made a little list of games that I want to try to play. I don't know. Like I would assume before, I think the first, I have to look it over again. I don't think there's anything coming out in January that I want to play unless I'm missing something. I could be missing something. I have to look it over. But I think January might be totally clear for me. And so I was going to use that month to kind of start playing games that I missed. Your Plants vs. Zombies broke today and now you can't play anymore, Michael? How'd that happen? Dang. That's a shame. Yeah, I believe it or not, I mean, if we're talking about some of our most played games this year, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, I have about 45 hours in it, which is way more than I would have expected. I was looking at that and I'm like, really? I thought it would have been like 20 or 25 hours or something like that. So that was one of my most played games this year. Oh, I forgot to mention, by the way, a game that I had here as a runner-up, but I didn't feel like I could put it on my top 5, but it's like very close. I was thinking about putting it in the number 5 spot, but I felt kind of bad because I'm like, I feel like I'm jipping Battlefield here. But I have to say that Days Gone Remastered is absolutely like a runner-up to be on my top 5 list, because not only is it one of my most played games this year, I think I put like 70 something out. No, more than that. I think I put like 80 or 90 something hours into it. And it was really, really fun. I enjoyed my time going back to Days Gone. I just felt bad. I feel like, I have to put new games first. And I know that Delta was on there too, but you know, something had to give here. So Days Gone was the one that could have been on that list, but it's going to stay at the number 6 spot, I guess we could say. Perfect Image, you're saying my top 5 MVG was Mafia, Old Country, Where the Winds Meet, Ghost 2, Liza P, and Silk Song. Nice, dude. I got a water pail to water my garden, and it won't let me get past the dialogue. It freezes. If I play any level, it keeps doing the same thing. That's really strange, Michael. Did you try uninstalling it and reinstalling it? Tarnished. It's just wonderful, isn't it? 2025 is a wonderful year to exist. Ninja Gaiden 4 was really good. I heard good things about it. Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert's going to be a big one next year, dude. Every time I see that game, I forget it's single player. I don't know why. And it shocks me every time. I'm like, that's a single player game? I would like to play it. It's another game I'd like to play. I'm scared of 2026, guys. I'm not going to lie. I've been looking around at like the upcoming games and I'm like, I am frightened. What am I going to do? Next year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 will face up against GTA 6. Assuming GTA 6 doesn't get delayed, that's going to be an interesting battle. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I have to imagine Microsoft is definitely concerned about that. I mean, how could you not be? They're two different games. I don't think they're two different audiences, though. That's the key thing here. I think there's a lot of overlap there, more than you would imagine. And I think that's I think Modern Warfare 4 or Call of Duty in general is one of those games where it's like, I don't think it wants to be in close proximity to GTA. I mean, you could say that about every game, but I'm saying that specifically about Call of Duty because they're known to be like the holiday game in October, November. But I guess we'll see what happens there. It's going to be a crazy year, though. You're saying, how does Xbox have anything to do with Expedition 33? I think as far as I'm aware, they paid them a bunch of money to get it as a day one game on Game Pass. I think that's about as far as it goes. I don't think Microsoft had anything to do with like the publishing or anything like that. That's good. I mean, I think that's kind of a highlight of just how nobody knew what Claire Obscure was, dude. Microsoft got it day one in the Game Pass. Could you imagine how much that would cost now? There's no way Microsoft would pay for that now. It'd be way too expensive. So, yeah, getting that money up front probably helped secure the development team a little bit. And it's kind of a smart move if you think about it for some developers. Like, they don't know what's going to happen with their game. They don't know. I mean, of course, the developers of Clair Obscur had no idea that it was going to be the next big thing. So, you know, getting the bag early, so to speak, I'd probably do it. You know, if I was a game dev, if I was offered if it was a good chunk of change up front, yeah, sure, maybe. Definitely consider it. Yeah, I saw that on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit. You're saying the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 rumors. They were saying, I think it came from Ghost of Hope, and he said that Modern Warfare 4 right now in its current state is like a complete recycling of Modern Warfare 2 with like no changes. So I don't, but I'm like, I don't know. I guess that would kind of be expected though, right? Wouldn't it? Like, I'm not sure what else it would be like. How different would it really be? If they came out, it's like it's going to be third person or something like that. That'd be kind of crazy. Oh, that's bright. What, so guys, what's the reaction been like so far for this marathon situation? Are people reacting positively to it, or rest in peace, Arc Raiders? This will be the best extraction shooter. Huh. That's just a comment I read under the PlayStation post. Somebody says the game is much better coming from someone who played both alphas. It's a significant improvement. Very excited to play it. That, I mean, I'm reading the comments that have some upvotes. Honestly, if there's any hope of surviving, it should have launched free to play. Countdown to server shutdown. Jeez. That has 152 upvotes. All right, well, proximity chat and solo scavenger, sign me up. I mean, I have to admit, just based off of this very, very brief glimpse into some of the replies on the official PlayStation account, I'm seeing more positivity than I would have expected. I have to be honest. Oh, so the video's not looking too good. 1.5K dislikes and 1.2K likes. Yeah, that doesn't sound ideal. I doubt it would beat Arc Raiders. Marathon would have to truly shock everybody to beat Arc Raiders. But I'll save that conversation for tomorrow. We'll save that for tomorrow. So, guys, do me a favor if you haven't already. Take a moment and hit that like button. If you want to help support the channel, I'm only able to do what I do here because you guys make it possible. Consider becoming a channel member, gifting memberships, super chats, direct donations. It all helps. It all allows me to do what I do here. We have Nicodemus, a member for 25 months. He says, MBG, I hope you and the family are doing well and have a Merry Christmas. Well, thank you. We're doing pretty good. It's just very snowy right now. It's very, very cold. So we're dealing with the frigid coldness at the moment. But other than that, generally speaking, we're doing pretty well. And thank you for that, Nicodemus. I hope you and your family have a good Christmas as well. You don't understand why Sony doesn't just put them onto Destiny 3. Apparently, they started early development of Destiny 3 now. It's like in really, really early development. So I think that they may have gotten the memo at this point. Do I think the PlayStation 6's premiere showcase will be GTA 6? I mean, maybe. It's possible. Destiny has an established player base. Why waste the money chasing other IP? It is a little weird. Yeah. It is strange. I mean, I'm not opposed to something like Marathon existing where it's like we want to try something different. That's fine, but I don't know. I think the confidence in Bungie has been very shaken, you know? I don't think people are very confident in Bungie in the year 2025 going into 2026. But again, I'll try to save that for tomorrow's conversation. You used to be a Destiny addict until Lightfall. Ooh. Winter's definitely here. Indeed it is, man. Indeed it is. Feeling it. Pushing Polygons, a member for 32 months. Appreciate that long time support. You're saying MBG 2026 is going to be madness. So many games, 17 to 18 games. LRG just said that Jaws Retro NES was coming to PS5, which of course I'm on board for. Yeah, Polygons, we were just talking about this, man, how 2026 is looking like it's going to be like, I want to say like a nightmare of a year, but in a good way, right? It's a nightmare because it's like, how are we going to play all these games? I mean, like, really, how are we going to play all them? Where are we going to get the money for all these games, bro? There's that too, right? So you have to have the time, you have to have the money, and something's got to give. So it's good, but it's also scary. It's scary good. Scary good, man. I saw that Terminator 2D game came out, by the way. Terminator 2D Dark Fate or something. I want to play that as well. I do want to play that. And remind me, there's something I want to tell you guys about Mortal Kombat 1 that I forgot to mention. We have Skullra. I don't know if I said that correctly, with a direct, not a direct donation, a super chat saying, not going to talk about Blue Box's studios abandoned? Is there something I missed? Wait, hold on. You're saying that like there's something I missed. Preferably not. Preferably we're not going to talk about that. Unless there's a valid reason to do so. Most people have not come back. The latest expansion released this month and hardly anybody showed up. Yeah, that's definitely not good. Michael says, from donations and subscriptions. Indeed, Michael. Indeed. We can only hope. We can only hope. Oh, nice. Polygons, you're saying your copy of 2D arrived an hour ago. Nice, dude. Yeah, I was seeing how the physical version is significantly more expensive than the digital. I think it's like double the price. But hey, man, the price we pay for supporting physical media, right? It's only 2 hours. Wait, is it a short? Is it really that short? It's 2 hours long. That's pretty short. The PS6 will cost $500. MBG, save this. Yeah, perfect image. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, Gothmog, that's not looking good, dude. Raven, you're saying your copy of Expedition 33 Mirrors Edition came in yesterday. Nice. Nice, bro. The key is not playing games at launch, but instead buying them later or half off. I mean, good things come to those who wait, right? Good things come to those who wait. And Skullra says, nah, I thought you had secret combos with Hassan. No, I talked to that person one time in my life, and that was it. Well, actually, no, not one time. It was like 2 or 3 times. But nothing of significance came out of it. I walked away confused. I walked away mentally ill. More mentally ill than I was going into it. No, but really. Guys, I'm thinking about changing the member goal back to 25. What do you think? Because I'm starting to think that people seeing the 1,000 goal, it's looking too intimidating. Like, I think it might be confusing people. Like, they're thinking we got 738 today or something. I don't know. Might just put it back to 25. Because you guys did hit the goal for the special stream we're doing on Thursday. But Because I'm like looking at it, I'm like, that looks it looks crazy. You wait to buy games now. You bought Kingdom Come 1 with all the DLC for like $5 on PSN. That is a steal, dude. Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to wait long enough, some of these games, they become dirt cheap eventually. Not all of them, but I was looking at some of the deals on PlayStation. So actually, guys, I did it. I finally did it. I can now say that I have obtained the Platinum Trophy. I've obtained the Platinum Trophy for Mortal Kombat 1. Set the goal for 262 for the rest of the 1,000. Well, the whole thing is, like, I don't even know why I have the 1,000 up there. Because we're not striving for, like, a goal at the moment. You know what I mean? That's not a bad idea, but let me see. Hold on. Nope, wrong one. Oh, there's so much space left over, too. Damn. There we go. All right, we'll go back to 25. It looks more reasonable, you know? Whoa. Why is he sideways? Why is boss sideways like that? Hold on. Something isn't quite right. Boss, what happened? There we go. I do have to flip it though. Hold on. Hold on. We'll get it where it needs to be. It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Perfect. There we go. It's funny because it does look like he's just maybe standing there. Can't wait to see people come in and be like, is that boss? What's boss doing there? Like, that's boss for you. And Michael Werneth. Michael. He's like, I know what'll make MBG happy. Here's 10 membership gifts, buddy. Michael, thank you for making me happy, man. I appreciate that. Michael just dropped 10 membership gifts for you guys. He's like, there we go. Now we have a reasonable goal. And yeah, if you guys get gifted a membership, if you're in the chat right now, when we're done here today, go check out some of the members' content. And for those who got gifted, you now have access to the Thursday morning with the misses. Oh, I just realized boss is kind of in the way of the super chat there. But we're going to have a Christmas special morning with the misses this Thursday. Be there. Michael, thank you so much. I got to give you a... And I'm going to... Oh. Relax, boss. We're on our way. We might still get it. All right, let me see how this looks. Looking good. Yeah, I kind of like the new setup here. It looks a little bit more organized, I think. It's very rectangular. And we have a super chat from... God, why is everything... I appreciate that YouTube likes to update their stuff, man, but I swear, they break so much stuff in the process. Scholar says, back when people were crazy about Abandoned, thinking it was Silent Hill, LMAO, even live streamed for 24 with hype. I wonder what's up with the project. I remember that, dude. Those were some good times. Those are some good times. Very mentally ill, but, you know. Still good times. You know, it's funny. I was looking back at my content not that long ago, and I came across those Blue Box streams, and those streams were wild, man. It's because it seems so real. But I think it's safe to say there's nothing actually going on with it, sadly. Mrs. MBG said you would give me a hug for being your best buddy. Michael, I'm giving you a hug, bro. I'll put my arm around. Thanks for being my best buddy. Boss thanks you too. Call of Wait, why is Bobby Reed in the chat just simply saying call of trash? Wait. Why? Boss doesn't bite the mic arm anymore. That's character development. He's trying. And Corey the Legend Landiga comes in. He's like, whoa, wait, hold on. Here's another 5-member gifts for you guys. Corey, thank you so much, man.
I'm no hero.
Boss is getting excited.
Never will be.
He's getting very eager now. He senses we're close. So Corey drops 5 more for you guys. That brings us to 15, and we're now 10 away. We're 10 away. 10 away, and we can give Boss some treats. My other best buddy, Corey. We're just going to be giving out virtual hugs now because that's what we do, I guess, on this channel now. Part of my code of conduct. You must hug each other aggressively. What really tripped Call of Duty was Battlefield 6. Players got to go somewhere. I think that's probably the most shocking aspect of Battlefield 6 in general, is that it was actually successful at convincing people to choose Battlefield over Call of Duty this year. Like, it actually worked. Not to say that there wasn't still overlap, but I saw there was this one YouTuber. I used to follow him when I was like more into Call of Duty, but I like came across their channel when looking up Battlefield stuff. Oh, what's his name? I think the YouTuber's name was The Exclusive Ace. Does that sound right? I think that's the guy. Yeah, I think that's him. And I noticed he had a bunch of Battlefield videos, but there was like this one video where he basically announced that he was done covering Call of Duty on his main channel and instead is now just going to cover Battlefield because he wants to get 2 million subscribers. And he basically was just saying that like so many people are now pessimistic towards Call of Duty that he ended up creating a second channel, a brand new one, where he covers Call of Duty there. And I thought that was crazy. I was like, wow, man. Like, this dude spent his entire YouTube. I mean, I don't know how long he's been doing YouTube for, but he spent his entire YouTube career covering Call of Duty. And that was his channel, literally. And then Battlefield was so big, he's like, yeah, I'm just switching to Battlefield. And the craziest part about it is, like, no one was upset. Everybody was like, yeah, okay. Now, to be fair, he's still covering Call of Duty on a second channel, but I'm just like, that's quite shocking, you know? Quite a shocking turn of events. Does Boss now catch the phrases/audio cues you play? He does. Yeah. I'm probably going to have to start muting them. As soon as he hears me play any of those sound bites, in his mind, that's like me ringing a bell saying treat time. Boss gets a snuggle. Yeah, true. It's probably better that way. It was like me with Crackdown 3. I guess. Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention. Should have mentioned this way earlier in the stream, but I guess I'll mention it throughout the week. The community tab is back. All right. Fresh start. Okay. Fresh start. I pinned a message on the community tab letting people know, what the expectation is. Okay. So I will be moderating that community tab just so everybody's aware. I want to encourage people to use it, but my whole thing is like, I don't want I just want people to be a little bit friendlier, a little bit less toxic. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying the last time I ended up pulling it down because I'm like, okay, I just have to do a better job moderating my channel in general. So that's on me. Hang tight, boss. Hang tight. Hang tight. Come on. We're almost there. Guys, 10 more memberships and we can feed the beast. You're okay, boss. You're okay. Well, Gaming Survivor, I mean, the only thing I would say to you, because I had to have a whole conversation with Rich Rod earlier. The only thing I would say to you is we're just gonna chill with the like anti-Xbox stuff. Because I mean, I know we're just joking. You know we're just joking. At least I hope we all know that. But unfortunately, there's just people that even they know we're joking, but they want to, I'm not trying to give anybody an excuse. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of trying to just steer the channel in a better direction. Titus is like, we are joking? So, I want to steer the channel in a better direction. That's all. And I think you guys understand why. And okay, boss, dude. Boss is like, oh, I'm gonna steer your channel, all right. Dude, help. Okay. This is fine. What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to say? Don't start biting me. Don't do it. Don't do it. MBG, the Mortal Kombat trophy, is the event still going on? No. Dude, so I don't know why. But I was just on my PlayStation 5 and I was like, well, okay, so I was scrolling through the deals tab on PlayStation Store. I was scrolling through the deals tab and I saw that they had Mortal Kombat 1 Ultimate Edition. And it was like 80% off or something crazy. It was like $17. And this is for Mortal Kombat 1 with all the DLC. They have Conan the Barbarian. They have Homelander. They have the Terminator, the T2 Terminator, T1000, and Raven. Raven X0 comes in. He drops another 5 membership gifts for the community here. Raven's like, I got to help my boy out. Boss is getting crazy up in here. Raven, thank you so much for that, man.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
I know Raven, he's hyped. He's hyped for the future of PlayStation. So, guys, we are now at 20. We're at 20 members. 5 more and we can feed the beast. Let's make it happen. I believe in you guys. We have a super chat from Skalra saying, can we talk about Ubisoft's quality issues, their poor facial animations, and recent cutscenes? Rant on them, MBG. They take $70 from us and give garbage. I mean, I would rant on it, but I haven't played Ubisoft games in a while, man. It's been a while. And Corey does it. Corey's like, I got this one, guys. Corey the legend. We call him a legend for a reason. He drops another 5 member gifts for you guys. Boss, we did it. They got you, man. Raven, Corey, thank you guys for working together there to crush the goal. So, good stuff. Good stuff. We'll feed the beast now. It's time.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Oh, boy. Okay, guys, don't fight. Okay, I may have given him a little bit more than 10. Oh, I just realized the membership badge is right over it. I may have given him a little bit more than 10, but it's okay. He hasn't had treats in a couple days. So I actually gave him, I think, the exact serving size. Well, actually, I'll give you some next. Thank you guys, though. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys dropping member gifts. I know that today's stream is a little bit unexciting in a sense, where I know, like, you know, streams like this are hit or miss when I'm talking about games I played throughout the year. The 555 deal. But yeah, I don't. What happened to the other goal? I decided to, Titus, we literally did it this stream. I decided to put it back to 25 because it was just sitting there like 738 out of 1,000, but I didn't have a reward for 1,000. People were telling me to shave the PlayStation logo into my chest, and I'm like, guys, you're trying to ruin my life? I understand the entertainment value there, but you know, there's got to be a, we got to relax. Wes. Yeah, Wes, I'm looking at you in the chat. We got a code of conduct here now, buddy. All right. Everybody who enters my chat agrees to the code of conduct. Kratos cosplay stream. GTA 6 tattoo. Yeah, that'd be funny. A GTA 6 tattoo would be funny. You got to aim big for 2026. WD-40 sponsorship. Exclusive Jim Ryan interview. I'll be the only person to score a Jim Ryan interview. Nobody else will interview, and just me. Because I promise him, the interview is just going to be about wine. Questions about wine. Yeah, that would be so funny. Imagine that. Imagine I actually score an interview with Jim Ryan and I hype it up. I'm like, tune in this Sunday. Exclusive Jim Ryan interview. First one since he retired from PlayStation. And literally it's an hour and a half of me just talking to this man about wine. And I'll tell people, guys, it was all code. Everything you could ever want to know is hidden in this live stream. You just got to decipher the code. Man, we haven't heard from... I mean, he really effed off, didn't he, bro? Can't blame him. I mean, he was getting roasted for 5 years straight. Or like 3 or 4 years straight with the... Whoa, chill. With the PS5. And when he retired, he is just like, you'll never see me again or hear from me again. I'm just going to live my life. I mean, yeah, that would definitely be worth 1,000 subs. Someone that public without a Wikipedia page has connections. Well, good for him. I mean, that's how I'd want to do it. You know, I don't want to be just gone. Titus, that is some wild stuff, dude. Well, I did want to tell you guys, I was a little bit got a bit distracted there for a second, but I saw that the Mortal Kombat 1 like Ultimate Edition, it was on sale for literally $17. And I was like, all right, I'll just pull the trigger and I'll buy it. And I basically decided in that moment that I was going to try to get the last trophy. So for those who don't know, my story with Mortal Kombat 1, I think Mortal Kombat came out September 2023. I bought it. I was a day one buyer. And I'm sorry, I keep interrupting myself. Boss, it's Luna's turn. No. You had enough. You got to go. It's Luna's turn, okay? You can come back. Come here, Luna. No? Okay. Boss, you're really not going to let Luna get some treats? Come on, dude. Be nice. Luna. Okay. Maybe in a little bit, Luna. Are you serious, dude? Oops. He's boss is being kind of rude, man. Not gonna lie. I gave you a pretty good helping of treats there, bro. All right. Let me get back on topic. I'm sorry. So my story with Mortal Kombat, I bought the game at launch. I put like 60 hours into it, or 55 hours into it. I put 55 hours into it. I got every trophy except for one. There was one trophy that I could not unlock, and the reason for it had nothing to do with skill. The reason I couldn't unlock this trophy was because they were doing seasonal events, and this trophy requirement was you had to defeat what they called a Titan. And a Titan is basically like a main boss, or a final boss, I should say, at the end of an invasions encounter. And the invasions in Mortal Kombat 1, it's almost like you just have to keep going and going and going and going, and then you get to the final boss. However, it was timed. So, like, the Titan battle did not appear until the end of the first season. And I remember being really mad at that, because if I recall correctly, around the time that Mortal Kombat 1 came out, there was like a bunch of other games getting ready to come out as well. And I'm like, well, I don't have time for this, you know? So I just like left it. And so for literally over 2 years, my game profile, my trophy profile, you just see Mortal Kombat 1 sitting there with 50 out of 51 trophies, or 52 for counting the platinum. And it was just for this one trophy. So before I purchased Mortal Kombat 1 Ultimate Edition, I went to look up to see if the Titan battle was available. And luckily it was. However, I like panicked after I bought the game, because I bought it. It was like 134 gigabyte install, which is nuts. I installed it. When I was finished, I booted up the game and I went into the invasions section to check for the Titan battle. And I saw a timer and it said 14 hours were left. I'm like, bro. Oh, you're talking about you're annoyed with Ed Boon. But I saw this and I'm like, oh no. Like, there's only 14 hours left for me to get this. And I was watching a video on YouTube of how to beat the Titan. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, this is going to take so long. I'm going to have to get through all this crap before I can fight the Titan. What I didn't realize is that wasn't true. The Titan battle was literally available just right there. I could fight him at any moment. So I was very confused for the first like 2 minutes of playing this game, where I'm like, I just wasted $17. I'm not going to be able to get this. But then I realized, like, no, you just go to the right. Like, you move your character to the right, and that's the Titan battle. And so I played as Conan, the Barbarian. And I was laughing my ass off, dude, because they legitimately hired somebody to impersonate Arnold. And you can definitely tell it's not Arnold, but it's so funny because they're like, make sure you make all the noises. So I'm fighting this Titan battle. I'm playing as Conan. He looks like Arnold. And every time I'm getting hit, he's just like, ugh, ugh, ugh. Like, he's just making all these crazy noises. I'm like, what is, what kind of fever dream am I experiencing right now? And, you know, it was a difficult battle, but I won. I beat the Titan, and the trophy popped. And I'm like, you know what? Worth it. Absolutely worth it. That $17 was worth it. And even if that's the only reason I spent that $17, being able to go in, play some Mortal Kombat 1. Oh, God. Guys, please don't fight each other. Going in, being able to play some Mortal Kombat 1, playing as Arnold's Conan, and that's how I got my platinum trophy 2 years later. That's platinum number 53. Was that the Arnold noise MBG or the soundbite? See what I mean? It kind of sounded like that, though. It was so funny. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I wish I was more into Mortal Kombat right now, because I would just love to play as Conan. But we need Arnold in more games, dude. That's what I'm realizing. Mortal Kombat, SNES was my intro. Buddy had Genesis, and we learned the Blood Code, legendary. Yeah, it's a good story, right, Jay? There's about to be a Mortal Kombat among your cats. I mean, for real. Like, boss is not leaving. I'm going to trick him. Here, boss. Come on. Luna, over here. Come on. Come on. Luna, come back here. Sorry, they're all right. I just feel bad because Luna really wants to have some treats too, and boss is just straight up being like, not in my house. I'm trying to remember what my first Mortal Kombat experience was. It definitely doesn't go back to the SNES days. It doesn't go back that far. To be honest, I don't know if I ever played like the original Mortal Kombat games, 1, 2, 3. I may have been too young. What Mortal Kombat games are available on the PlayStation 1? It's like, must I emerge? Okay. Do you guys see Luna right now? She's on edge because she knows. She's like, I'm in boss's territory right now. This sofa has become boss's territory. She's so uncomfortable, she won't even eat it. She won't even eat the treats. It's okay. Either that or she doesn't like the treats. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted by my cats again. MBG. They did the release date and pre-order videos for Saurus, right? But I looked it up. I couldn't see it online. Where and when to pre-order. They should be available now, Dwayne. I saw it on the PlayStation Store. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird. I'm not sure why it's not showing up for you. 3 Gold MK Trilogy. Yeah, I definitely didn't play that. Polygons. I mean, dude, I'm starting to think that my first Mortal Kombat experience may have been on PlayStation 2. What was the first Mortal Kombat game to release on PlayStation 2? Was that Deception? Or like Deadly Alliance or something? I played a lot of Mortal Kombat on the PlayStation 2. That I do remember. Deadly Alliance was okay. So Deadly Alliance may have been, I think that's my first introduction to Mortal Kombat. And then I played like pretty much every PS2 game. I don't think I played Shaolin Monks though, although I heard that game was amazing. I remember playing Deception and loving that game. I remember playing Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and then I pretty much played every Mortal Kombat after that. I had to have played some of the original games at some point in my life. I just can't recall when. They definitely would have been later in life, though. But I've always liked Mortal Kombat. Hey, come here. Hot take, I'm tired of this pursuit of realism in games, and Unreal Engine 5 is destroying the unique visuals that games have. Say what you want about Marathon, but the game's art direction is peak. I don't think you're the only one. I mean, is that a hot take? I guess it would kind of be considered a hot take. I think a lot of people feel that way, dude. I think a lot of people feel as though, you know, the pursuit of realism and realistic graphics is a bit tired. People want maybe more unique graphical art styles. I do agree. Marathon does have an interesting art style. I still haven't seen any game that looks quite like it. Luna, I don't understand. I thought you wanted treats. Boss, come here. Come eat these treats. Come on. I guess Boss is getting double treats today. So much for that diet. My bad. Do you think we'll get a collector's edition for Resident Evil 9? I think you will. Yeah. I think it'll be revealed. Well, I don't know. You would think it would have been revealed already. Wait, wasn't there a collector's edition? I'm getting confused with all these games. Oh, wait, no, it does have a collector's edition. It's currently for Japan only, I think. Okay. That would explain why I don't recall seeing it. So it looks like you get like a statue of Grace. That's really weird. I guess maybe they're not doing a collector's edition for Resident Evil for the US. Hmm. I mean, maybe they'll still announce one. I mean, there's still time. Maybe they could do something for like Leon, a Leon collector's edition for the US potentially. Yeah, thanks, boss. Thanks for cleaning up the mess. Arc Raiders is of high quality, but the visuals aren't one of its strengths. The entire environment looks like it was created using cheap Unreal Engine assets. Titus takes offense to that. That is a diabolical take. I love the term diabolical. Well, I think the good thing about 2025 and 2020 and going into 2026 is that I do feel like now more than ever, and I'm not just saying this, I mean, it's quite literal. There's more diversity in terms of how games look than I think ever before. Now, I don't know that that can ring true for the AAA space. Maybe that's not as true in the AAA space. In the AAA space, that's definitely where they go for realism. But still, I think just broadly speaking, if there's a specific, if you're looking at games and you're looking for specific art styles or just something to catch your eye that is not realistic looking, that is not aiming for realism, I think you can find that. You have a better chance of finding that now more than ever. But I guess that is what kind of makes Marathon a little bit unique in a sense, where it is definitely going for a different art style, a different look for an FPS than what we've seen. So, hold on one sec. Oh yeah. So for any of my Street Fighter fans here, what did you guys think of that Street Fighter movie trailer? I thought it was kind of crazy when they brought the whole cast up on stage. It was a bit much. But the thing that was really out of pocket was that one guy. He clearly went off script and just completely crapped all over the entire Mortal Kombat cast or just the entirety of Mortal Kombat. That was kind of crazy to see. And they were like, he's just joking. He's just joking, guys. Like, bro's getting out of control. MK1 is too bright and vibrant. It's not dark and gritty like the trilogy or MK9 was. Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. I just, booting up Mortal Kombat 1 for the first time in like 2 years yesterday or the day before, I kind of noticed, I'm like, was this game always this bright? I guess it was. I do kind of miss that darker look with the Mortal Kombat games. Like there has to be some color, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with Mortal Kombat going forward. Because the whole thing about Mortal Kombat 1 was they you know, like they completely overhauled or like they rebooted the story again. And I'm like, well, all right, I guess. We have Gaming Survived dropping a direct donation saying something feels empty today. I can't quite figure it out. Gaming Survived. Dude, I'm not Gaming Survivor. I'm not making fun of you. That's legitimately who the name of the person who donated directly. Something is missing for them today. Something feels empty. I wonder what it could be. You're excited for the Mortal Kombat 2 movie though? Carl Urban, excuse me, as Johnny Cage. Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. That's a good pick. They did, but they didn't reboot the story. It kind of ties into the timeline. Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah, because I was like, wait a second, didn't they just kind of like swap characters' roles? That's true. It's been a while since I beat the story, but I remember thinking, oh, okay, well, it wasn't bad. I didn't think it was bad. I remember. It's so funny because like I remember playing like the PS2 Mortal Kombat games and like, do you guys remember Shujinko and that whole thing with like they actually tried to make like a straight up like campaign, like a single player story for where they would introduce a new main character in like Shujinko, and I thought that was awesome. Like I really enjoyed playing stuff like that, and you would go to like the different realms and talk to the characters or meet the different characters, and you would fight, of course, in between. And then I remember in Call of Duty Armageddon. I don't know why I almost said Call of Duty. Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty, what's the crossover here? But I remember in Armageddon, like, dude, yeah, not only did they have the mini games were in Deception as well, but I remember in Armageddon, they had another main story where they were like Tagan or Taven and Dagon. It's weird trying to get these names right. It's been a long time. But I remember like thinking this is so cool. Like they're really expanding. Yeah, I'm pretty much having a stroke. They're expanding the Mortal Kombat lore and incorporating all these different characters. And I was just so, I don't know. I was just really into it at the time, and I thought it was really cool the way they were doing it. And I like that they did with the stories after that as well, with like Mortal Kombat 9 and whatnot. And I followed that stuff too. But there's a certain charm to the PlayStation 2 era Mortal Kombat games, I think, that, I mean, I don't think they could go back to that. I really don't. It was like a time and place type thing. But Mortal Kombat Kart greater than Mario Kart. Bro, I remember Mortal Kombat Kart. You remember the chess game that they had too? I mean, this was so cool about the classic Mortal Kombat PS2 games is they really added a lot to these titles, like mini game stuff to add this incredible amount of replay value and replayability. I feel like they just don't do that stuff anymore. Scorpion can spear your cart. Yeah. Well, good times. I mean, maybe we could get like you think they would ever do so I saw that they did like the collection for Mortal Kombat. Apparently it has some issues, but they did the collection where uh they have all the classic games from like the NES days up to I think the PS1 games. Do you think there's a chance we're going to get another Mortal Kombat collection, but it's going to be games like Deception, Deadly Alliance, Armageddon, Shaolin Monks? I mean, come on. Surely that has to be what they do next, because I'll be all over that. Let me tell you, I will be all over that. By the way, guys, I see we are approaching the 2.5 hour mark for the stream. I'm probably going to end this stream today at 2.5 hours because I wanted to keep it shorter today, not only because I was just running late, but I just wanted to talk about my top games of the year, and I figured it would make for a shorter stream. But I guess I'm just letting you know now we're going to do like a last call. If you want to drop any more support, any more member gifts, if you want to become a member, direct donation, super chats, any of these things, now would be the time to do it because we're going to wrap this up soon. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to probably be covering the marathon stuff and some other gaming news. But I'm going to be trying to like sprinkle these, year in review type streams or looking ahead type streams into to what we're doing in the coming weeks. If you never played Shaolin Monks, you need to. Best Mortal Kombat game ever. The fans have been begging for a remake for over 5 years now. I always see Mortal Kombat fans bringing up Shaolin Monks, and it's crazy because I think that's the only PS2 era game that I actually missed out on. So it definitely piques my interest when I see how passionately the fan base talks about it and how much they want to see a remake of some kind. Shaolin Monks is like the OG God of War of MK. Bro, I must have really missed out on a good one then. Oh, look at that. Hello, Leia. You want to say hi? What's up? What's going on? Leia came over here to hang out. What? Go ahead, talk. They want to hear you meow. Done watching the new marathon video. It actually looks pretty good. They've improved the graphics a bunch. I guess that's where Leia's going to chill. You can play the whole game co-op too. Matter of fact, you have to play co-op to complete and access all areas of the game. Raven says he needs Shaolin Monks to be remastered. Damn. I mean, if this many people are asking for it, then surely they're going to remaster it at some point. Right? Right? It was an improvement when you played last month. Well, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Like I said, I keep talking about tomorrow, but they announced the release date for Marathon. Surely they're going to do an open beta closer to launch, right? Right? Like, I can't imagine they're not going to do that. Because I'll tell you what, man, like, I would like to play Marathon through a beta. I like to try it. We have Gaming Survived again with another $2 direct donation saying it will never be the same. Oh. Gee, these cats aren't annoying. Well, Gaming Survived. Thank you for your direct donation. I do appreciate it. It looks really freaking good now. It's so different. Really. Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out. We should have a nice, long, thorough discussion about Marathon tomorrow. Certainly. You drank. Oh, really? Is that what it does? Isn't that stuff good for you, Wes? I don't know. I've heard of it before. You guys are crazy. All right, let's see. I also want to let you guys know if you want to partake in the community tab on the YouTube channel now, YouTube made some updates to the community tab, and it is now available on desktop. At least I'm pretty sure it is. So I just wanted to put this out here as well because when we were doing it originally, you could only access it through the phone. And I'm just putting this out here because, sometimes people would ask me to check certain things in the community tab and it would be difficult because I'd have to do it on the phone while I'm streaming. But now they have it available on desktop. So definitely a nice welcome upgrade there. It recharges your mitochondria. Huh. Well, maybe one day I'll try it. Where do you even get it? Is it even legal? Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, guys, I think this will be maybe a good place to wrap up today's stream. What are you thinking? Truthfully, the stream probably could have been even shorter because I really only had one topic today, which was talking about my top 5 games. Wes, that's actually kind of crazy. Well, you can just straight up buy it off of Amazon. 5% USP grade methylene blue. Huh. Are there any negative side effects, though? I feel like with something like that, there has to be some kind of negative side effect. Oh, wait, hold on. Yo, we have Gaming Survived dropping multiple direct donations. Is Gaming Survived like singing Black by Pearl Jam, but something feels empty today. I can't quite figure it out. It will never be the same. Oh, it didn't have to be like this. Why, MBG? Why? You missed my last, but why, man? Why? I'm just imagining him singing like Eddie Vedder. Why? Why? I'm sorry, Gaming Survived. We got it. We got to get things. We got to button up here, bro. All right. We got to button things up a little bit. But Gaming Survived, I appreciate your direct donations. You'll have to go back and watch your 5 stream because YouTube didn't send a notification. I probably didn't help pushing polygons because I went live an hour later than I normally do. It probably messed up YouTube's system. That's already like half broken as is, even when you're on time. You have energy like crazy because it repairs your mitochondria. I mean, that sounds tantalizing, Wes. I'm not going to lie. But pushing polygons, you could probably come back when the timestamps are up because I think we really only did the top 5 in basically the middle of the stream. The intro was me kind of talking about a couple of changes I'm making to the channel and in terms of how, our approach in the community and whatnot. And then the middle was me talking about my top 5 games and my game of the year. And then the second half is like kind of us just chilling and chatting about random things. But yeah, guys, this is going to be a good place to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to this episode of Press X Podcast. Again, top 5 games of 2025, including my game of the year. Oh, there you go. Devil Shooter's already got you. Pushing polygons. He says at the 33-minute mark is when it begins. So thank you, Devil Shooter. And so, yeah, thank you to everybody who watched live, and also a thank you and shout out to those of you who can't watch live. I know you're there, and I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your support. And I also want to thank everybody who dropped any direct support today. If you dropped memberships, we did hit 25 members. We got Boss some treats. I know he's nice and full and happy now. I know you can't see him. He's literally right here. Like I know you see the picture of him, but he's literally sitting on the sofa right here next to me. So thank you guys for that. I can only do what I do here because you make it possible. I want to keep this thing going and growing, in the healthiest way possible. So all of you guys who support the channel, thank you. And I also want to make sure to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. If you guys see his comment with the timestamps, make sure you give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he appreciates it. And Devil Shooter, thank you for what you do, buddy. I really do appreciate what you do for the community. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, wait, Jay Shako, who are you telling me to ban? Jay Shako's intrusive thoughts are winning again. Yeah, but that does it, guys. So we'll be back here tomorrow. I did put out a news video earlier if you want to go check that out. But I will be back here tomorrow with a another stream, and we'll probably cover the marathon stuff and a couple of other things that have come out. So yeah, that's it. Guys, the only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you hit that like button on your way out. We'll see in the future, Jay. We'll see. All right, that's it. Guys, please enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you back here tomorrow in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.